Welcome into today's Philadelphia Eagles Now by Chat Sports. I'm Chase Sr. On the docket for the show today. Going to open up the floor and take a lot of your questions because I know that Eagles fans out there, very smart, very intelligent, very intellectual football fans. That's why I love being a part of this fan base, and that's why I love taking your questions as well. So without further ado, what do the people have to say? Jose Serrano gets us started. Our run defense is a huge improvement from last year's first few games to this year's first couple of games. I told you Eagles fans are really smart. That includes Jose. And Jose, remember how bad the Eagles were with that rushing defense last year? They were so bad that they had to make emergency signings of Ndamukong Suh and Linval Joseph because they could not stop the run. And I'll tell you why this Eagles rushing defense has been good this year. It's the impact of the young players. Jalen Carter, Jordan Davis, people continue to underrate Milton Williams just because he's behind really good players. Last year, Fletcher Cox and Javon Hargrave had the spotlight. Milton Williams played really well, especially down the stretch. And then you throw in how the Eagles linebackers have played. Zach Cunningham was awful week one, better in week two. I thought Nicholas Morrow's range was very notable in that week two game against Minnesota. So they're doing a good job at defensive tackle, and credit to Fletcher Cox because he's aging like fine wine, continues to be one of the better defensive tackles in the game. The young, talented guys, as well as some of these veterans, Philadelphia and Howie Roseman have done a great job building up this defensive line, and because of that, their run defense has improved. You're completely right. Bird Gang Eagles, how do you think the Birds will do on Monday? I think that the Eagles are going to win. I think it's going to be a difficult game. You go on the road. I'm not too worried about the weather because the Eagles have been playing in warm weather climates in training camp, the preseason, and it's been moderate temperatures in Philadelphia. It's not like you go there in December after kicking it and practicing in 30 degrees, right? Completely different then as compared to right now in the mid to late portion of September. So I think this is a close game. I think the Eagles win by a field goal. The over-under is very interesting to me. It's like 46.5, so the odds makers do think that some points could be scored in this game, but give me the Eagles by 3. What did I say, 28-25 is my final score that I predicted on our preview. Ernesto Ojeda, what is the latest Philadelphia Eagles injury news? So, Ernesto, good question, and obviously an important question going into this football game because Philadelphia last week against Minnesota in week 2 certainly had their defensive depth tested. This week, though, James Bradbury expected to play, Reed Blankenship expected to play, Fletcher Cox did play against Minnesota. He continues to stay healthy. So the Eagles in a very, very good spot as far as their health goes, better than they were in week 2, getting those reinforcements back. But we'll see how Mario Goodrich can step in for Avonte Maddox. We'll see how Zach Cunningham and Nicholas Morrow and Christian Ellis continue to play at that linebacker spot without Nakobe Dean. Will the Eagles offense finally break out in this game? It's been arduous. It's been tough. It's been difficult. The games have been muddied up by the opponent so far for this Eagles offense, and they haven't caught a rhythm. So B for breakout, D for dud. I think that Jalen Hurts does rebound for a pretty solid game. Today's show is sponsored by AG1, and I have my AG1 right here, and I'm just going to sit back and drink some. It tastes so good. I know it's so good for me, and it costs less than $3 per day. If you're looking for a comprehensive and daily nutrition option that's convenient, AG1 is your answer. We also have a great deal for our audience. drinkag1.com/chatsports. Use that link, which is also available down in the description of this video. You get 5 free travel packs of AG1 and a year's supply of vitamin D. Do you want to take care of yourself? Do you want to get in better shape? Do you want to improve your health? AG1 has allowed me to do that. It can allow you to do that as well. Benefits of daily use: promotes gut health, it supports immunity, it boosts your focus and your energy. For me, the NFL portion of the calendar year, it's extremely busy. I work pretty much 7 days a week. The watch parties are long. Work days are long. I love what I do, but I need to be able to continue to give you content here on the airwaves, right? Right here on YouTube. And I'm able to boost my immune system with AG1. 75 high-quality vitamins, minerals, and whole food source nutrients I simply mix 1 small scoop of AG1 in water. I shake it up, and there you go. I have the greatest comprehensive and convenient daily nutrition option that's out there. So one more time, drinkag1.com/chatsports. That's 5 free travel packs and a year's supply of vitamin D. Now we shift gears to a question from a real one. The team hasn't worn their Kelly Green jerseys yet. Is it too early for them, or are they not ready? You know, it's a joke. I ordered one when they were released on Fanatics. I got a Jason Kelce number 62. It's not expected to get to me until October. People also rip Fanatics because they were receiving Jalen Hurts jerseys and Jalen Hurts jerseys and overall Kelly Green gear in which the numbers and the logos were slanted. Michael Rubin owns the company, former minority owner of the Philadelphia 76ers, said that will never happen again. But speed the process up. You knew the release was going to be in high demand, and you're not ready to send those jerseys out? As for when the Eagles will wear those jerseys, I think the first game is against the Miami Dolphins coming up. Let me check here. Off the top of my head, they will wear their Kelly Green jerseys and helmets along with gray pants and white striped socks for 2 home games. Week 7 against Miami, Week 12 against Buffalo in the 2023 season, and hopefully, honestly, a little bit more than that. Andrew Nathan, with Philly going up against that Tampa 2 defense, who do you think of going to more? And who's going to be the focus in your game plan? Is it going to be A.J. Brown or Dallas Goedert? Look, both have been held in check so far to start the season. A.J. Brown hasn't really been able to get going. I like how the Eagles included Dallas Goedert in the game plan a little bit more in Week 2, but as far as results go, he still isn't producing the numbers that a lot of us anticipated, and there are a bunch of reasons for this, right? Let's not just put the blame on Brian Johnson with his play calling and play designing. You can't just put the blame on Jalen Hurts. There are so many things that go into this. Play calling, play designing, offensive line protection, Jalen Hurts not having enough time to see the field, Jalen Hurts being unsure of himself, a running back missing a blocking assignment, a tight end missing a blocking assignment. An offensive line, like Lane Johnson, taking the inside guy instead of the outside guy, and that's why Danielle Hunter, it was Matthew Judon in Week 1, got the Jalen Hurts. So those are all of the reasons why this Eagles offense has struggled a little bit. But they have to be better in pass protection. You continue to run the football. Look, the Eagles established that run against Minnesota. What did it do? Jalen Hurts started to see the field clear up a little bit, and he made some strikes downfield to Devontae Smith. So hopefully the Eagles are able to really have that balanced offensive attack and hit Tampa Bay with a couple of different options. Dallas Goedert on the seam balls, Andrew. A.J. Brown on a variety of routes, because you do that. This Eagles offense, when it's clicking, very difficult to maintain. Lion Fighter, how concerned are you with our pass defense? I'm not too concerned. Look, they closed the game out against New England. That's props to them. First year defensive coordinator, so the scheme is a little bit different. So that's, of course, a little bit challenging. You close the game out against the Patriots, and then against Minnesota, I really wasn't concerned in that game. And a reason why Kirk Cousins threw for so many yards and why he had so much success, the Eagles were up 27-7 in that game. They were playing prevent defense. So they're playing prevent. We'll give you anything else out in front of us, and you can take it. Now, the Vikings able to come back because when you play prevent, you play back. You try to stop the big play that allows teams to matriculate down the field. So, I'm not too concerned because I like the cornerbacks. You lose Avonte Maddox. You're going to miss him because he is a very good slot cornerback. Mario Goodrich is going to fulfill his shoes, and if he can't get the job done, maybe the Eagles will make another sizable move, but Darius Slay, top-tier corner who's still playing at a great level. James Bradbury coming back Monday Night Football, most likely coming off that concussion. And if that pass rush starts to get some sacks and not just quarterback pressures, makes the back-end's job a lot easier. Chua Lore, how can the Eagles stop Baker Mayfield from throwing to his wide receivers? You get a pressure on him, and you continue to, generate that pass rush, and you really dominate the offensive line for Tampa Bay, and hopefully Hassan Reddick can finally get on the board, and everybody else continues to do what they're doing. Josh Sweat has had a great year, and he's turned himself into one of the best and most underrated edge rushers in the NFL. And he gets a lot to this defense. So if Baker Mayfield starts to feel that pocket get a little bit uneven, then he's already short, right? Could struggle to see where he's going, make some mistakes with the football, but you get that pass rush home, you don't have to necessarily worry about as much Mike Evans and Chris Godwin beating you downfield. But it is going to be a very good test for this Eagles team, especially with some question marks at safety as well. And sometimes those safeties are in charge of keeping that long ball in check. Predict the score. What do you think the score is going to be? Birds, Bucks, Monday Night Football. Share your thoughts with us. Get those score predictions in. We'll be doing a watch party for this game right here live on Philadelphia Eagles Now. You don't want to miss our coverage of that. LA, we've seen 2 weeks of show blitz and play zone or zero blitz zone in the secondary with this trend and it being a copycat league. Does the offensive coordinator install more shallow crosses and zone beaters? LA, you know ball, man. And that's why I was talking about, like, you get A.J. Brown on some of those crossers, Devontae Smith on some of those crossers. But also, what I continue to want to emphasize here, easy throw. Get it out to DeAndre Swift on a swing pass. Blockers are able to get out in front. That's kind of a pass play that's an extension of the run game. Bubble screen out to A.J. Brown. And then the defense starts to play up a little bit if that's happening. And then you're able to work some things in behind them, underneath to that intermediate range. And then you start hitting that. But then you run the football. And then they're in that intermediate area where they're like, what do we do now? And then you start running those crossers. And A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, Dallas Goedert, DeAndre Swift, very good at picking up yards after the catch. So hopefully Brian Johnson makes some adjustments. Look, credit to him. He made some adjustments in game against Minnesota. Air game wasn't working. They started the run game. DeAndre Swift went wild, and they ran it more than 40 times for more than 250 yards and took the manlyhood out of Minnesota. Jonathan Hall, does A.J. Brown get a touchdown? You know what? Bold prediction here on the show. And shout out to Jonathan Hall earlier for that donation. A.J. Brown getting a touchdown in this game. Lamont Lancaster, Atlanta not playing Cordarrelle Patterson. Eagles should trade for him. Cordarrelle Patterson as a returner on this Eagles team, I think that he'd be really good. He gives you explosiveness. He gives you juice. He gives you size. He gives you physicality. All of those things Britton Covey does not give you. And I watch a lot of Britton Covey at Utah because I love watching college football. A home run threat to take it to the crib anytime he got the ball on a return. But he looks smaller, looks a little bit slower at the NFL level. Philadelphia continues to trust him because he's somewhat sure-handed, even though he coughed it up against Minnesota. Thankfully, Keely Ringo is there for the fumble recovery. But let's be real here. Britton Covey is not the player that Cordarrelle Patterson is, who has taken the ball to the house from 110 yards out a couple of different times. Xavier Carter, do you think Nolan Smith will have an impact on the game with this defense? Hasn't really done much. But if he does, he'll be able to earn his money, Xavier, like you seem to be earning your money with that profile picture. Nolan Smith has got a limited workload so far. The snap count hasn't been all that much as compared to his fellow rookie in Jalen Carter. Probably a couple of reasons for that. Carter, the more dominant player, ready to play right now, and Nolan Smith kind of getting the grasp, but also he's behind some really good pass rushers. Brandon Graham, Hassan Reddick, Josh Sweat, Derek Barnett. It's just a logjam at that position, whereas defensive tackle Carter's been so good, so you have to put him on the field, and the depth not like it is at defensive end. Who you got? Monday Night Football. We asked you for those score predictions now. Get those game predictions in. I'm going Birds in Tampa Bay. PHITB, let us know. And don't forget to join our watch party. Eagles Now Live. Let's get to 53,000 subscribers prior to kickoff. If you want Eagles analysis every single day, you know this is the place to come.